I've always liked traditional English cottage garden plants. There's something nice about them. There's something that takes you back in time. It takes you back to physic gardens or a time when there wasn't so much formality. They're nice. This is a lovely anthemis charm. Beautiful little thing. Yellow flowers. Here you've got what we used to call a chrysanthemum, but the knobs at the RHS now call it leucanthemum. Anyway, it's a lovely variety called Summershine. Beautiful thing. The double flowered geranium pretense. What a lovely thing that is. You couldn't get a finer little blaze of colour in your garden. I know I sound like a twat saying blaze of colour, but I can't think of a better way of putting it. For contrast, there's the Simsifugas, which again the RHS have now renamed as Actia. I can't keep up with some of these changes. I just love traditional garden plants. The Pulmoniums, Jacob's Ladders. These are a delight. They're going over now, but they're not hard to increase. You can divide them, you can even sow them by seed. They won't come exactly true, but they're worth doing. This is a lovely pale blue called Northern Lights. And then there are my women. I do love my women in the garden. This is Tess. She's not in flower yet. Here, the delightful blooms. You can get a close-up of that. This is Hermione. Isn't she lovely? Here. Charlotte. Not as fragrant as some, still nice. Darcy Bustle. Velvety, almost crimson. What a beautiful plant. It's been touched by the rain and the bad weather. It's been the worst summer for, well, since 1910 they're telling me. The tight little blooms of Gertrude Jekyll. Look at this. That is absolutely exquisite. Good old Gert. The fragrance is wonderful. I don't know if in real life her fragrance was wonderful, but certainly the rose that's named after her is beautiful. This is Grace. Would you call that apricot? Here. Look at those. I love traditional flowers. And what could be more traditional than a rose? But anyway, this short film is about propagating delphiniums. Delphiniums have always caused a problem for a garden. If you don't catch them right, you can't take cuttings. The problem is, they're hollow-stemmed, and if you don't get them early enough, and there's a cavity in the stem, the rot goes up through the cavity, and the cuttings rot off. And I'm going to show you a way of propagating them that's much more commercially viable and is easy for the amateur gardener at home. Just talking before we start about traditional plants. This is a new phlox. Now phlox has been around for centuries, but this is one called peppermint twist. Really nice. But again, suffering because of the weather. And then of course, there is the beautiful sweet pea. Pretty ordinary variety this. Doesn't matter. I was always told that a bunch of sweet peas, you took them to your sweetheart, her knickers just fell off. Never worked for me. Mine stayed on. It's the delphiniums. I grow them generally in a tunnel. It doesn't matter if they get leggy, like the ones I'm going to show you. I wish the bloody cameraman would keep up. Now, as a plant, this is a dead loss. It's straggly, it's been forced up, but that's not what I want it for. This isn't being grown as a plant. I'm going to show you exactly what I want this for. Seems a pity really, but it's all got to go. Don't want that. We'll get rid of that. We're now going to strip the plant out. We're going to break off the roots. Or most of them, and we're going to bash it against the side of the pot. And what we're looking for are things called crown buds. Here, at the bottom of the stem, are next year's shoots. These are dormant buds. If you can hear a snotting noise in the background, it's the dogs sniffing the ground. I think they found a mouse hole. It's very hard filming with dogs and a cameraman that's pissing themselves laughing. But we won't worry about that. I'll probably cut my finger off in a minute. You don't need much stem with these buds. Here. Can you get that? Now, what I'm going to do there is just run the secateurs through and through there. I'll keep this big shoot on here just in case, but all you're really interested in, this is a typical crown bud. You see here? So, I'll do the others later. I would expect to get about 20 to 30 off of that one plant. Have you stopped wetting yourself now? Little pot of compost. Tucker's just cocked his leg up over your jumper. Sorry about that. There. That is a crown bud. You can keep it just below the surface and that will do you really well. As I say, from that one plant you would expect to get 20 or 30 little plants plants like that. Water it in, put them somewhere shaded, a cold frame out of direct sun, and they'll grow in about 6 weeks. They'll overwinter, and next year you can pop them into 1 litre pots. That's the way to grow delphiniums. If you've got a really good variety, this was a variety called Butterball, and it's much better than cuttings. Alright? That was a difficult one. Tucker, you've torn up all that. You're a little bastard. Come on. Never work with dogs or children, or scraggy at last Jack Russells. Go on, bugger off.